Good evening, I am Adventure Argonaut, and these are the golden news. The goldiest news you ever heard. And it's of course Tuesday News Day on top of it all. Um, let's just have a look of the streams. Even Kick is working today, even though like yesterday I apparently because when I started streaming, Kick wasn't really working. But then like after the stream and stuff, I noticed that I'd been actually streaming there all the time. I don't know how many people were actually able to see the stream. At least Kick started working like halfway through, but I'd been because my OBS that I used to stream, it was I just pushed my start all button as I usually do, and so yeah, it also streamed on Kick, so that was nice. Especially if people were able to see it. But anyways, these my streams are working right now. So let's have a look at the stories. So the first one is of course the JFK files. They are out, and there's all sorts of information out there, and I probably haven't heard even half of all the relevant information, but who knows what's the most relevant information out there, and like are all of the files out actually, like maybe they're still keeping some in the dark that are especially volatile. But let's have a look at some of the stuff that people have been talking about. So yeah, this JFK file says Israel was behind JFK assassination. So yeah, this is so Israel is no good. Israel was behind the JFK assassination. So this is some. So an asset to Israeli intelligence is saying Israel killed JFK. So yeah, it's just I did read some of it. So there's like some at Concord nightclub. Subj, I think that's the name. Subj paid for drinks. His spouse may return to Addis circa early May. Subj said he was distancing himself from Egyptian businessman Safa and added, before I leave Addis, I have a lot to tell you. So anyways, I'm not going to read all of this stuff. There's many documents like this, but it's like of course you can say that it's simply this one person's claim that Israel was behind it, but perhaps you can, like, some of us sort of suspected something like this before these documents came out, and it at least seems to corroborate some of our beliefs already. And there's what Stu Peters saying here. Jewish infiltrators secretly collaborated with U.S. intel officials to divert more than 200 kilograms of uranium 235 to Israel from 1957 to 78. Israel literally founded their nuclear program off of uranium they stole from America. So NUMEC owned and operated the uranium processing facility. The survey established the loss from 1957 until 1965, 178 kilogram of the uranium, blah blah blah. So wait, what's this? Nuclear Materials and Equipment Corporation is NUMEC. Okay, in Apollo, Pennsylvania. And in the financing of the new firm was Pittsburgh industrialist named David L. Lowenthal, a longtime close personal friend of Shapiro. Lowenthal fought in Israel as a volunteer, and this seems to be redacted or something, and this part as well. But let's just say that Lowenthal and Shapiro, I could have guessed their ethnicity even if it didn't mention Israel here. The facts developed to date pertinent to such possible diversion follow. Dr. Shapiro was a consultant to the Israeli AE program in 1960 or earlier. Sometime prior to 1964, Dr. Shapiro allowed an Israeli scientist to work for 9 months to a year in Numek plant. Following, okay, there's a lot of crap redacted here. Following the June of 1967 war, Dr. Shapiro, something this is said to have included the aerial tour of the Suez Canal by the IDF Air Force, the Israeli Defense Forces. On the basis of the foregoing, it must be assumed for the purpose of U.S. national security that diversion of special nuclear materials to Israel by Dr. Shapiro and his associates is a distinct possibility. Such diversion might be evolutionary or revolutionary. NUMEC was formed by Dr. Shapiro and his associates in 1957. So here they are at least suspecting that Dr. Shapiro, this Israeli guy, that they took some of the nuclear materials to Israel. On the other hand, it is possible that the idea of diversion didn't occur until much later when the existence of the reactor at Dimona was discovered. Dr. Shapiro was a consultant to the government of Israel on nuclear matters at least as early as 1960. Okay, yeah. Yeah, let's move on. There's lots of stuff to cover. And yeah, there's uh, speaking of Shapiro, this is a different Shapiro, Ben Shapiro. Why does it actually matter who shot JFK? This is a real article Ben Shapiro just had published across the internet. I guess, like, I think maybe he deleted it or something, but it's like, well, there should be a video clip of him, saying similar stuff too. So let's move on. Jews have never and will never be loyal to their host nation. Stu Peters is saying this FBI report on Zalman Shapiro, the Jewish infiltrator that worked with CIA to divert 300 kilograms of uranium from the US to Israel, perfectly illustrates why they cannot be trusted. So this is the same Shapiro, I presume, as earlier. Investigation in this case to date has established the fact that subject maintains an intimate and respected relationship with officials of the Israeli government. He is known to have discussed technical requirements of Israel with Israeli officials and intelligence personnel, and further has requested known acquaintances who are at least sympathetic to Israel to provide data on a variety of technical matters of interest to the Israeli government. It is felt that the primary objective of this investigation has been established. Concerning the question of subject having diverted U-235 to Israel has not been resolved. The relatively few individuals interviewed in this matter, including former employees, revealed their suspicions of subject's activities but produced no concrete information of value in this regard. The investigation, however, did disclose the probable existence of an Israeli technical intelligence network at Abraham Hermione visit to Pittsburgh revealed. The thought comes to mind that this group is not the only one of its type, as Hermione no doubt has contacts in other sections of the country and is collecting information in all fields. An interview would not produce any information regarding this activity, as subject and others would no doubt deny any wrongdoing and consider any inquiry along these lines as impertinent. Investigation has further disclosed that subject and others involved in the instant case, in addition to holding top positions in their respective fields, are very active and highly regarded in various Jewish organizations which exert some influence in this country, presuming it speaks of America. In addition, the subject is known to be critical of the Internal Revenue, other U.S. government agencies, and President Richard Nixon. He has expressed no allegiance to the United States, but has stated he could fight for Israel and is believed to be seriously contemplating migrating to Israel within the next several years. So yeah, like Stu Peter said, like some people have different allegiances and priorities. Um, but it's just interesting that so these documents relating to Israel's nuclear program or how they got it started were apparently part of the JFK files. And why was that? Well, it has been, long before the release of these documents has been discussed as one possible motive for the assassination of JFK is that, he wanted to look into the Israeli nuclear program, and or like he wanted to look deeper into APAC, what they were doing and stuff. Of course, there's all sorts of stories like there's people saying it's because of UFOs because he said he wanted to go to the moon, and then they killed him because aliens, which I don't believe, or maybe something to do with Federal Reserve. But at least there seems to be some corroborating evidence in the new JFK files. Okay, let's listen to what Ben Shapiro here says.
Sort of conspiracy theorizing that's become incredibly popular on the right these days. It was popular on the left, and now it's become increasingly popular on the right. The kind of, let's just ask questions. We'll ask who really killed JFK? Wink, wink, nod, nod. And then you're like, well, do you have any evidence of the thing that you are presupposing? Well, no, I'm not making any accusations. I just know I don't believe the story that I'm being told. I know not to trust the authorities. Like, well, that's fine, but do you have like any evidence? Like evidence, not just supposition. I said, well, you're part of it, aren't you? Yes, you're part of it. The reason that you're so defensive about
Shapiro.
all this is, I don't care who killed JFK. I mean, I do because it's really interesting, but I noticed that the calendar says 2025, and he was killed in 1963. And so my opinion about who killed JFK has about as much relevance as who killed William McKinley, or James Garfield, which is to say, not an enormous amount.
So it happened a long time ago. We shouldn't matter what happened. Okay, there's this meme that was made years ago, I'm pretty sure. Looks similar here. Notice the hat. The USS Liberty incident happened over 50 years ago. You couldn't genuinely care so much about your people getting killed so long ago. You must have ulterior motives for bringing up a historical event like that one now. Yeah. He does this same spiel for every historical event except one. What I wonder which event he's talking about here. Was this one of the most important documents in the JFK files is missing? A testimony of CIA counterintelligence chief turned Israeli spy James Angleton before a secret session with the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence Activities. The document number is 157-10014-10006. Okay. So yeah. Okay, I don't know how did he knows how Stu Peters knows that this document is important. Where did he was it mentioned somewhere else? The table below displays the file names and links to all of the documents released March 18, 2025. They are sorted by record in identification form RIF number, which is included in the file name. Okay. So this is the Angleton interview. Okay, so here is the record number. So yeah, his hearing is not heard there. Okay. So yeah, Angleton, James, Myler, Scotty. So counterintelligence, CIA methodology, FBI, and yeah, defectors. So yeah, and did he say that he's counterintelligence chief turned Israeli spy. So yeah, I guess he defected to Israel, their greatest ally. So here it says the CIA killed JFK. There's this. The day after the assassination, Gary Underhill left Washington in a hurry. Late in the evening, he showed up at the home of friends in New Jersey. He was very agitated. A small clique within the CIA was responsible for the assassination, he confided, and he was afraid for his life and probably would have to leave the country. Less than 6 months later, Underhill was found shot in the head in his Washington apartment. The coroner ruled it suicide. So I just wonder, like, this clique, like, not that I'm a fan of the CIA, but it's a big organization, so maybe it was a. I wonder what sort of thing, what factors unified this clique together. Like, was it common ideology or ancestry, religion? Clique of internationalists, something like that. I wonder. I wonder if there are other documents, as provide some more light on the matter. I guess Fidel Castro wasn't behind the JFK assassination after all. So, yeah, Fidel Castro was very upset over the change in the United States administration brought by the brought about by President Kennedy's assassination. The top Cuban leadership was sure President Kennedy would not invade Cuba, and they were convinced that the policy of his administration for economic blockade and internal subversion against Cuba would not overthrow the regime. So yeah, because I think that's what he was one suspect back in the day, probably Fidel Castro and Cuba and stuff, or communist in general. So the CIA was recruiting college students and radicalizing them even back in the 60s. Shocker. So, yeah, Venezuelan student teams operating under the control of the CIA station are intensifying their efforts to spot and recruit members of extremist youth groups who are likely to be sent to Cuba for training purposes. Okay. So, yeah, some Venezuelan students. So, yeah, this has gone on for decades, long before I was born, this sort of manipulation. Yeah. Okay, based of these JFK files, Israel is the one who ordered the hit, the ones who are really in control. Why would they want to redact the word Israel? Israel intelligence was involved 100%, the crypto elf here claims. Can I? No. I, no. I'm trying to zoom in, but it refuses. Can zoom into the image further. But yeah, here it says Israeli intelligence service something. Yeah, this is from the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA. Investigation received from James Angleton. Ah, is that guy? Okay, is the guy whose document is missing. And this was, I think this stamp should be in some other documents too, where it's easier to see. Israeli intelligence service, Russia. So, regarding the travel of U.S. citizens to Russia via Israel, such travelers come from various parts of the world, I guess. So, yeah, has no objection to release CIA information in this document, excess brackerously. So, yes, I'm not quite sure, like, how the implication here is that they don't want Israel information released, and of course, some information regarding Israel was, unredacted and stuff, but maybe there's still lots of stuff redacted or simply not, documents that they didn't release. Israeli intelligence, something, something, Israeli matter, Israeli, and yeah, this is the same stamp, I guess. But yeah, it's very fuzzy, difficult to see. Israel, blah, blah, blah. Okay, CIA has no objection to declassification or release CIA information in this document, except Brackersley. What or who is Brackersley or brackets? Something like that. Um, So let's talk about the truth drug is devil's breath known as MK Ultra. The term conspiracy theorists died today. Okay, this is sort of random. I don't know, but uh, so I said Mr. Lee H. Oswald, D. Harvey Oswald, will be killed after kill Kennedy. I said I will take the truth drug to tell the truth. Director, tell us who else get killed in this country. I said as I heard that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. will be killed. Who will kill Dr. King Jr.? Niagara leader. I said I think this was this. Yeah, this is retyped letter from handwritten. Yeah, because the it's not the most eloquent um, letter. But yeah, Mrs. Perazanova girl from the Russian consul came to my room and repeated that Mr. Lee Harvey Oswald is assassin. He will kill President Kennedy. So I guess this was before he was shot, like this document or like the letter. I don't know. Yeah, but truth drug. So yeah, it is interesting, but it's sort of not clear what they mean by that. And was this? It was the Jews. Okay. Uh, oh yeah, this is infamous. Of course, we now have plenty of money. Our new backers are Jews. As soon as we or they take care of Kennedy. So, report made by Special Agent Joseph E. Noonan or F. Noonan. Lee Harvey Oswald assassination of President Kennedy. Investigation made by Special Agents Edward Z. Tucker and Joseph E. Noonan. Okay. So here's the synopsis. Informant 21266 has advised that one Thomas Mosley has been in touch with a group of Chicago Cubans who may be involved in the assassination of the late President John F. Kennedy. Also, that this Cuban group is endeavoring to purchase through Mosley a variety of automatic weapons and explosives. So these Cubans who are involved with Jews, I don't know. Like, if I was, hey, Dev Marvel, thanks for the follow, welcome. I'm just wondering, like, if, surely there are some, U.S. law enforcement officers and so forth, like, who really want this to made public, who are much more competent in researching these matters as me and have, more authority in the matter. So, you really think they would want to finagle, like, pull out all the information, all the details of the JFK assassination. Like, let's say that everybody who is guilty of the assassination, every individual, maybe they're already dead or something. But it's still, if the CIA if Israel and stuff, if they were these institutions were involved in it, I still say it should, you know maybe some heads should still get bashed in or something. JFK Jr. didn't his plane blow up around 1994 or something? Anyway, he called Joe Biden a traitor in 1994. It's in the JFK files. So yeah, envelope postmark Worcester, MA blah blah blah, 1994, bearing the handwritten, hand-printed address, Senator Joseph Biden, D. Delaware, U.S. Capitol Building. So yeah, here it says accompanying handwritten hand printed letter, blah blah blah. Beginning, dear Senator Biden, you are a traitor, and bearing the signature John F. Kennedy Jr. Yeah. Okay. I wonder what he meant. That in what way was Biden traitor? Back 30 years ago. Like what had he done back then? We could come up with a bunch of new allegations now, 30 years later, but what was JFK Jr.'s motivation for this allegation. And here's JFK files. As I pour through them, appear to still be redacted. Yeah, from the quartering. Yeah, here's comment, blah, 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 blah. Actions against US targets in Cuba. So maybe it does mean that, Cuba was somehow involved, like not necessarily the government, like, Fidel Castro's government, but like, maybe, it's a country. He cannot control everybody. Maybe there were some internationalists going through and from Cuba involved in the assassination. But yeah, stuff redacted. So who knows how relevant information this is. Was this? Russians warned the US about the assassination just like they did on 9/11. So yeah, this is retyped letter from handwritten. So yeah, I don't want to read all this, but yeah, okay, I'm gonna take their word for it that the Russians warned about the attempt beforehand. Their enemies supposedly. Oh yeah, then there's this. Hitler didn't die in World War II, he lived on. Doc from JFK files. So, yeah, well, let's see. Uh, Microfilm, July 26, 1963. So, September 1955, some chick melody. Let's gotta call it chick melody. Sounds like a Pokemon or, I don't know, Powerpuff Girl stripper. Reported the following. Neither Chick Melody or the station is in position to give an intelligent evaluation of the information and it is being forwarded as of possible interest. Chick Melody 3 was contacted on September 1955 by a trusted friend who served under his command in Europe who is presently residing in Maracaibo. So didn't reveal the identity. So okay, Chick Melody's friend stated that during the latter part of September 1955, a Philip Citroën, former SS trooper, stated to him confidentially that Adolf Hitler is still alive. So this was in 55, okay. Citroën claimed to have contacted Hitler about once a month in Colombia on his trip from Maracaibo to that country as an employee of the KNSM Royal Dutch Shipping Co. in Maracaibo. Citroën indicated to Chick Melody's friend that he took a picture with Hitler not too long ago, but did not show the photograph. He also stated that Hitler left Colombia for Argentina around 1955. Citroën commented that inasmuch as 10 years have passed since the end of the World War II, the Allies could no longer prosecute Hitler as a war criminal. Uh, I'm also like, yeah, doubt it, a sort of X to doubt, but there's a slight possibility it's correct. Is this various rumors, majorly on Bengal rumors? Uh, but I'm just thinking because I've heard this quote. I don't know how true it is, but saying supposedly from JFK that Hitler will emerge as a new figure in history and that misunderstood figure, something like that. That's a quote I've heard. A mangled quote because I don't remember it correctly. But like let's say hypothetically that he was alive in the around the same time as JFK was a president, or maybe they even communicated during that time, and like maybe that would at least make an interesting alternative history science fiction story, if nothing else. And so yeah, here is somebody's claiming Megatron is claiming that CIA secret bases worldwide exposed by JFK files, although it doesn't really say what these are, just field distribution secret. So there's like Johannesburg, Nairobi, Salisbury, and I noticed there's Helsinki and Geneva, Paris, Stockholm, Zurich, Beirut, Calcutta, blah blah blah, and there was Hong Kong as well. I think yes, that was probably back then when it was still under British control, but it doesn't really say like whether they were CIA secret bases or something else. But I guess they were places of interest in some sense of the word. Is there still stuff relating to? Okay, Gaddafi knew who killed JFK. So okay, let's see what he has to say. Okay, maybe I'll mute him and just read it because he's speaking Arabic. The UN General Assembly should start an investigation into the assassination of US President Kennedy. We know that he was killed by one Lee Harvey. Then came one Jack Ruby and killed Lee Harvey, Kennedy's killer. Why did he kill him? Jack Ruby was an Israeli who killed Lee Harvey, Kennedy's killer. Who would this Israeli kill? Why would this Israeli kill Kennedy's killer? Then Jack Ruby, yeah, he's like Jacob Rubinstein. Whoa, wait. I was trying to pause it. So yeah, then Jack Ruby, the killer of Kennedy's killer, or Jacob Rubinstein, I think his real name, died in mysterious circumstances before his retrial. Why? Open the files. What I know and what we were taught in history class is that Kennedy had decided to hold an inspection of the Israeli Dimona nuclear plant to find out whether. Wait, it's just too fast, too fast. To find out whether there really were nuclear bombs there. This is why they got rid of him. That's what Gaddafi said, and then they killed him too. So he was, of course, the Libyan leader who was ousted from power and sodomized with a bayonet to death or something. And let's see, there's more Ben Shapiro here.
They talk about the USS Liberty incident. I have to say, I'm a little bit bewildered why you're so obsessed with an incident that is now 52 years old. If you have theories that are better than those of the American government, they've got operators standing by, feel free to dial them and tell them.
Yeah, so USS Liberty, when Israel attacked the US warship, that happened 50 years ago. Yeah, you shouldn't care about that.
Your 5-decade-old theories about a military incident from the 1967.
Yeah,
I care who killed JFK.
Yeah, this one we watched already.
And so my opinion about who killed JFK has about as much relevance as who killed William McKinley.
A few moments later.
According to the Bible and certain interpretations of contemporaneous archaeology, Joshua entered the land of Israel in 1400 BC. The kingdom of David was founded around 1000 BC. The first temple of Solomon was built in approximately 957 BC.
Okay, it's not the best because it's not really like he's talking about biblical stuff instead of it's not. I think it would be a better contrast if he compared these two accounts like the USS Liberty and JFK assassination to something that happened in like Poland and stuff or didn't happen in 1940s and stuff, because it's not really like they're sort of apples to oranges comparing biblical events to fairly recent tragedies, but not that recent, like both JFK assassination and the USS Liberty incident happened before I was born, certainly. So yeah, there's only one historical event that they want to talk about. It was literally 58 years ago, USS Liberty. It was literally 63 years ago, JFK. It was only 80 years ago. I'm not. Is it some pajama party? I'm not quite sure what event this is referring to. So yeah, breaking first documents from the JFK files have been released. So this is Rabbi Shmuley. He's of course making a funny. To whom it may concern, the Jews did 9/11 and then killed me. Sincerely, John F. Kennedy. So of course this is a joke, but many. How does the saying go? Like many truths spoken in jest, something like that. So yeah, maybe. Okay, but finally, that's all I have right now about the JFK files. So yeah, it does seem to suggest that, despite this guy's incredulity and Shapiro's, and well, they have their. In Finland, we say oma lehmä ojassa, like when you have a personal stake in a matter. It means literally that your own cow is in the ditch, and of course, the logic is that back in the farming days, and somebody says like, hey guys, there's a cow stuck in the ditch, we should go help him. And it's like, he wants others to think it's like just doing it out of altruism, but actually it's his own cow. That's why he wants it to be raised from the ditch. But anyways, let's move on to the next story. Finally done with the JFK files. But yeah, you know it does seem to be pointing in a certain direction, like what kind of people were the culprits in this matter. And okay, the US government Signal leaks. So yeah, the Signal, the messaging app, apparently they were the US as military plans leaked in the group chat. Um, So yeah, Trump administration accidentally included journalists in a Signal chat group discussing upcoming military strikes. Now, I don't think the journalist was, some guy called Goldberg, if I remember correctly. I don't think he was just accidentally there. I do think he did do something, sort of underhanded to gain access there. But it is their mistake if it's actually their secret military, like where they were talking about military secrets and stuff. um, so yeah, there was Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, and some other people too. I'm not gonna go through all of this, but there was one comment. Yeah, this one. Yeah, okay. Shortly after Israel's war in Gaza started following Hamas-led terror attacks in Israel on October 7, 2023, the Houthis began firing missiles at Israel and international shipping lanes in the Red Sea. The Iran-backed group said it was a bid to support Hamas and the Palestinians. US President Joe Biden ordered several strikes against the Houthis, but largely failed to restore stability in the region. Missions were carried out with a military backing from European countries, including the UK and Germany. During the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas earlier this year, Houthi militia paused their attacks but resumed them after Israel resumed operations in Gaza. So, okay, in the Signal group chat, a person identified as Vice President Vance expressed doubts about fresh US strikes on the Houthis, saying he hated bailing Europe out again. A person purportedly National Security Advisor Mike Waltz said only the US had the capability to carry out the mission. A person believed to be Hegseth noted that he shared Vance's loathing of European freeloading. So I'm just, when I read this, my impression was like, wait, is bailing out Europe again? Is it like a euphemism for something else, like like this? Houthis began firing missiles at Israel. Like, how is it bailing out Europe if they're bombing the Houthis? Like, okay, here it says UK and Germany were there, but well, they're. I don't think it's really in the geopolitical interest of UK or Germany either to keep bombing the Houthis instead of some other country. So yeah, that's just. But if he really means bailing out Europe again, it's like, okay, please stop bailing Europe. Please leave Europe. Please, get NATO out of Europe and all that. Like, you can stop interfering with European elections and stuff and all that stuff. US, please, and Israel as well. Thank you. And yeah, here is this freeloading Europe Morgoth's review saying freeloading Europeans made us do this. So yeah, here is U.S. overseas military footprint. Just look at all this. Yeah, yeah. That this is because Europeans can't take care of their own defense. Like, okay, it's probably fact right now that Europeans cannot take care of their own defense, but that's because European nations are basically occupied nations. Well, I guess the same goes for America, but that's a different story. And this is not directly related to the signal leaks, but this is related still to the Trump administration, because once you see it, you cannot unsee. The quartering says, "I unfollowed all these clowns clearly on a payroll." So we are the media now. So there's all these conservative influencers and stuff. So like Democrats are gonna cry. Egg prices are down. Gas prices are down. The inflation is down. So yeah, even like libs of TikTok. I don't know who many of these are. I know Lauren Boebert and libs of TikTok, but anyway, egg prices are down, gas prices are down. This is exactly what I voted for. Gas prices haven't been as low as they are today in 4 years. The price of eggs are also coming down. So yeah, there's all these people. Inevitable West. Isn't this some Indian guy? In America, gas prices are down, mortgage rates are down, egg prices are down, blah blah blah. So at least they're not copy pasting the same exact message, but they have the similar narrative that does imply that this is the. It's not as inorganic as what the Democrats. That's just copy paste the same message, but this is almost as bad. This is like 1 degree better, which is not much. So yeah, don't don't get tricked by the since Democrats are bad doesn't mean that the other side is much better. It might be slightly better, but not much. And here is libs of TikTok saying anonymous donor donated 10 Cybertrucks to the Las Vegas Police Department. These look so badass. And here 1984 is pointing out that libs of TikTok exposed running cover for an anonymous donor who, according to 11 PD, Ben and Felicia Horowitz donated 11 Cybertrucks directly to Las Vegas police. Felicia is the CEO of Horowitz Family Foundation. Why is she lying? Are the Horowitz Jewish? Come on, of course they are. Like, just look at the name. Just has to be, right. Yeah, so, but whatever. I don't really care about whether libs of TikTok is lying or I'm ignorant again about the name of the Horowitz family. I think it's like having cyber like Tesla cars as police cars. It sounds very dystopian, because doesn't it basically give the Tesla company like control over these cars? Like, don't they have like some kill switch button, like if they want to kill your engine or do something, update your hardware, or hack it or whatever? Like, I hope if they are police that they have some special security hardware to prevent any kind of wrongdoing by Tesla, or let's say some malicious hacker who gets into Tesla facilities or something. So yeah, big conservative accounts caught taking money to shield against Maha, make America healthy again, and not disclosing it was ads. This is a massive violation of FTC and X terms of service. Elon Musk should ban all the involved accounts. There is zero chance they haven't done this before. This is a major issue. So yeah, because they want to prevent people from block people from buying soda like Coca-Cola with some food stamps or something, and some of these people are saying it's a bad thing. I don't really care about this issue, but the issue itself. But if these people are paid off, then I care. But maybe there's very good arguments for both sides of this conflict. But since I'm not American, I don't care about this particular one, except for the deceptive way of pushing the message. But here Trump says something supposedly reasonable.
Well, I am a nationalist, but I'm a nationalist for the United States, not for anybody else. Well, I am a nationalist.
Yeah, so here it just says, I'm a nationalist, but I'm a nationalist for the United States, not for anybody else. Really? Like, okay, is he telling the truth here or is he lying? Because, prior to seeing this clip, you could have fooled me and say that he's also a nationalist for Israel and even more staunchly for Israel than for the United States. But hey, the American people should hold him to it. That, play this clip to him if he seems to do something that doesn't match up. Okay. Let's go to the next story then. This one. So yeah, that's the signal leaks and related issues. So structures discovered under the Great Pyramid. So yeah, it's allegedly. So they know who killed JFK. Quick, talk about the pyramids. This is. He's saying my timeline right now. Personally, I didn't see much talk about the pyramid stuff. Like a few mentions, but like few vague mentions. But yeah, so the story is that supposedly they did some, I don't know, is it thermal imaging or sonar crap or whatever, that there's some sort of really long tubes under the pyramids, like something like this, or supposedly like there's some study, but um, and it's really cool. Like this is supposedly under the pyramids. Like if it's true, and these are huge, like these are stairwells, these yellow round tubes and stuff. So yeah, it's basically proof of some ancient, advanced ancient civilization, if it's true. But it's most likely it's bullshit. And I recommend you having a look at this video from Static in the Attic. I think this is quite informative about the issue, and yeah, I'm not gonna try to repeat all the stuff he said. Just go watch his video if you are interested in this issue. And I do find the idea fascinating, like pyramids and all sorts of ancient structures and mysteries. But I'm gonna need more than just trust us, guys. It's totally what we say. So yeah, I want to see some proper evidence. And okay, Israel de Lenda Est. Um, I don't have many probably. Oh, let's see what sort of. So yeah, Israel has to be destroyed, and of course I'm talking about the political entity. And if the JFK files don't convince you, there's some other stuff. So there's this story first. Egyptian links crossed the border and attacked several Israeli soldiers, causing many injuries. And then there's uh, 12 soldiers evacuated for treatment after being stung by wasps in Gaza, so Israeli army. So even nature seems to hate Israel, which is, hilarious, I guess. And this Conor McGregor calls for full support for Israel, urging world leaders to stand firmly with the nation. He's the leader Israel needs, this guy says. I don't agree. So, yeah, he's some sort of, is it like MMA fighter or boxer? I think he's MMA. And he was like, I think he's been vocal against the, Islamization of Ireland and stuff. But then why does he call for full support for Israel? Maybe he has dyslexia. He cannot distinguish between Ireland and Israel. Maybe that's it. But it's just, do they have his boss in a vice or something, or in a blender? Why is he shilling for Israel? Uh, okay, she has redeemed herself. Anna Kasparian is forgiven. Let's see what she
APAC
says.
is evil. APAC is evil.
No
Evil. My fellow
no
Americans,
argument
are you
here.
okay with that? Are you okay with A lobbying group representing the best interests of a foreign government telling you you need to bust your ass every day, work a job that you likely hate, and have a portion of your earnings taken from you by our federal government and funneled to the Israeli government so they can commit atrocities in the Gaza Strip. Are you okay with that? Because I'm not okay with that. And nothing gets under my skin more, okay, than hearing these pieces of crap say things that make it clear that they feel entitled to our money. Entitled. APAC is evil.
Yeah, it's pretty based take actually. So yeah, war crime here says for the first time ever, the left and far right agree on something. We hate Israel. Sooner or later, the people in the middle will too. Yeah, I hope so. I haven't been saying, Israel del Est for several months now for, just for shits and giggles, not just for the memes. I do think it's important for the, stability of the whole world that something is done about Israel. And okay, Malaysia drafted a resolution to remove Israel from the UN. How about just somebody said, how about just removing them? Yeah. What's this? Oh yeah, and this is interesting. So okay, so Andrew Trask asks, if you were dropped 2,000 years back in time with nothing but the knowledge you have now, what would you do? And this guy says, Timothy Snedeker, easy. I would find and assassinate Jesus of Nazareth. FYI, anti-Semitic replies will be blocked and reported. So I think it implies he is Jewish himself. um, but yeah, you can sort of understand, like, perhaps there's some good reasons why people aren't fond of these kind of people, this sort of people. Like, that's, he said it's easy, like he didn't have to think about it. But personally, I wonder, like, what if you did the opposite? Because what's the point in assassinate? Or maybe he wants to assassinate Jesus before he becomes, famous, as it were. But what if you went back in time and saved Jesus from the cross? Like, would it be, hindrance to Christianity if he wouldn't become a martyr anymore? Like, would there be Christianity? Would that be the worst thing ever to happen to Christianity if that were to take place? Like, of course, you can say that it was ordained that by God, and there's nothing you can do to change it. That's possible. But let's say that you could change it. How would it alter history? That's another interesting alternative history science fiction movie or something. And yeah, this is what Jews are doing to children in Gaza. This is what your tax dollars are being used for. Yeah, not pleasant, but I felt I had to show it. And yeah, Israeli Tel Aviv University received 600, 615 million bucks in grants from the US in 2023. Why? Like, do they send this sort of money to Finnish universities, Irish universities, uh, Belarusian universities, or Bulgarian ones? Okay. Let's move on to the next story then. So the cursed Antarctic expedition. This is a, I don't know, disturbing story, but still, it's funny because it's so absurd. So this is the South African Antarctic research team now on site, where one member assaulted and sexually harassed colleagues, even threatened to kill one of them. I can't imagine who might have been sexually harassed. Yeah, I wonder who was the one who got harassed. Members are desperate to leave, but they are stuck in with a maniac until scheduled relief ship arrives in December. So it's like over 6 months they have to wait there. Like, it just seems like such a brain fart going on this mission. It's like, disaster waiting to happen. Just sounded like it. And it reminds me because I recently read a science fiction detective story. Red Planet Blues, which is detective story taking place on Mars, and there's like one side story in the history is that because the spaceships traveling between Earth and Mars, they take like almost a year, was it 8 months, something like that. And anyways, but normally the passengers are frozen during the passage, but there's one person who has to be the pilot who is awake. But that one, the pilot, on one particular trip was this sort of guy, and he also harassed the other passengers and stuff, and they were stuck in the can for all those months, being stuff being done to them and stuff. So I don't know. Life imitates art, I guess. Yeah, this is the Antarctica research crew trapped in an icy hell with coworker who snapped and started attacking them. So yeah, it's just I wonder which one is it? Who is the culprit here? And I don't know why she dressed like some. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna say maybe it's this guy, Lebogang Tsime. They have funny names. Mubulaheni Kelsey Maivashe, Nivagazi, Sihlemofo Lavana, Nuguleko, and Welcome Koza. Yeah, yeah. And yet there was somebody even had been on a similar mission before to shoot a short horror movie or something. So at least I like the way they think, but yeah, I don't know. It's just fucked up shit. If it's true, like for all we know, hey, at the Mountains of Madness too, yeah, but this is at the Mountains of Harassness. I don't know. Okay, let's move on. Oops, wrong button. Okay, this one. And now we get to the game news and also some entertainment news. So let's start. So yeah, the Assassin's Creed Shadows with Yasuke came out, and I think this is from Twitch. So 32,000 viewers of Assassin's Creed Shadows, and then there's Yasuke Simulator is almost 50,000 viewers, and this Yasuke Simulator is just some meme game released on Steam at the same time. I came this close to buying it. I was thinking, should I stream it? But it's like, no, because now I'm playing what's that, Crying Sons and stuff. I don't wanna interrupt that. But yeah, Yasuka Simulator is more popular than Assassin's Creed Shadows. And Ubisoft's new AAA system is insane. So yes. But this is actually like, this makes the game seem fun. Actually, like stupid, buggy, not functional, but I did think this was hilarious the first time I saw this video. So yeah, and a black samurai in a relationship with a non-binary person. So yeah, I think this Felicia Stellarblade is sort of saying that how absurd this game is. Oh yeah, and I forgot to say, welcome Agent Double Hertz, of course. Trans, and here Ivan loves Worf, and he's of course some crazy leftist on Twitter. Trans and non-binary people have always existed in Japan, and Yasuke was a real black samurai. So of all the historical inaccuracies in Assassin's Creed, this is not one of them. Okay. I'm just gonna say, if you say so, you clearly know so well. You have a Doraemon in your hands. Okay, this is Kunoichi Eve from Stellar Blade versus Naoya from Assassin's Creed Shadows. So yeah, can you spot which one was made by the West? It's like, yeah. I don't know. It's like, it's not truly horrible, but it's like, it's just, why? I don't know. I don't want to look at it. So yeah, Yasuke in Assassin's Creed Shadows final boss fight features a battle accompanied by diverse African music, followed by terrible dialogue, and then it ends. This game has the most atrocious voice acting script in the last 20 years. Budget was wasted on globo homo romance. So okay, I didn't actually listen to it. Can't really hear the music that well. Oh yeah, I don't want to play too much in case it's copyrighted music or whatever. But yeah, here it says BGM lyrics are Chincha Tonava Jinja, which translate to "We will slaughter them" in Swahili. This is a game where an African murders en masse to the equivalent of "kill the boar, kill the farmer." Sadistic racist fetish at best, a statement of intent at worst. Yeah. Why is it Swahili? So did Yasuke speak Swahili? I thought he was Japanese. He should speak Japanese, right? And so here Pirate Nation is saying apparently this is how they got 2 million players on Assassin's Creed Shadows. So somebody's claiming for those interested in the game on the PC, Ubisoft Plus $15 a month sub offers the game as well. You can sign up, then cancel and have a whole month to try it out without spending $70 on it. I believe it's worth a try. Well, I don't believe it's worth a try, but I don't know if this is true, that if this is how it works, but I'm gonna take the word for it because I don't really care enough to check. And there's some voice acting. Let's listen.
But I know the place. No one visits any turns the same. Especially not a lone guard.
You didn't see her fight. She'll be fine.
Okay, I don't know. I just think it's very like putting me to sleep listening to this. And there's some sort of controversy with this that so Ubisoft request a VTuber to do a sponsored Assassin's Creed Shadow stream. She agrees. VTuber streams it as is agreed. Not long after VTuber gets banned on Twitch, it was a complaint from Ubisoft that got her banned because she streamed it at the wrong time. Turns out it was a Ubisoft mistake and they misread the time, but they still blamed her for it anyways. This Ubisoft, this is getting ridiculous. You sponsored someone and now you got them banned for meeting their sponsorship obligations. Well, okay, you could say this is karma or something, like for accepting Ubisoft money and playing their cursed game. Like it's sort of like putting on the Sonichu medallion on yourself. Like, if you get hit by a truck while being sodomized by a whale or something, it's sort of you brought it upon yourself. Maybe that's the way you should look at this matter. Was this Ubisoft 3 gay romances, the absolute state, and 1 straight romance where you fuck Nobunaga's sister, Oda Nobunaga's sister. So are they all the romances in the game, or are there like many more? But it's really 3 gay. Yeah, it's like, and then BBC. They really hate Japan, the developers, clearly. Okay, let's go to Silent Hill F. So Australia, the progressively hellish country jail known as for censoring anime while letting you bang a bear in Baldur's Gate 3, just banned Silent Hill F. Peak adult horror gaming might be back. So yeah, I am still cautiously optimistic over Silent Hill F. But it's like, okay, I wonder like what's so horrible about Silent Hill that it has to be banned. Like wasn't like GTA 5 or something banned in Australia too, or did they want to ban it but failed? I'm not quite sure. But it's uh, like can't you let it's already a game for adults. Like I think it's like not for people under 18. So like does it, I don't know, brainwash you into becoming a terrorist or something? Or like, well, why do you have to ban games from adults? Makes no sense to me, but hey, I'm not Australian. Maybe Australians have a better idea. They also like those, COVID concentration camps. So yeah. And there's this fantasy author goes viral lambasting bookstores. It's all chick lit and booktop slop. What is booktop? Is like TikTok booktop. They would have to ban so many games now. Yeah, in Australia. Well, I guess the most annoying part about censorship like this is that it seems to be very arbitrary. Like even on Steam and stuff, some anime games have been banned for having anime lewdness, but other anime lewd games are completely fine, and it's just somebody seems to look at like, okay, this is bad, but I don't really care about that. It's very emotional, in my opinion, like this banning stuff. But anyways, let's go back to this. So yeah, fantasy author. So I guess it's this guy, John A. Douglas. Don't know. Maybe I should follow him. I don't know who he is or anything, but so yeah, so Chicklit. So yeah, because I've heard similar things before. And hey, I'm an aspiring author. I've written a science fiction book, kind of writing a fantasy novel now, trying to get them published and stuff. But it's not easy. Of course, it might be simply that I have to get good, but I think at least partially it's because I'm not a trans lesbian author writing about the queer experience or anything like that. So that's probably at least partially the reason why I haven't had much success. There might be many other reasons too, but anyways. And here is so Fit Girl is some sort of pirate site that cracks video games, and I think they were in financial trouble. And then here it says that some billionaire just donated 42K to Fit Girl, so some Bitcoin. So yeah, this was Bitcoin, and I guess somebody checked the address that probably this Bitcoin address. Is this the guy who sent the money, right? Or is it the one? I'm not sure which one. Is it the receivers or the senders? But whatever. I assume somebody checked that. Oh, this Bitcoin address has lots of Bitcoin, so they're a millionaire or billionaire. Sorry. So I sort of think this sort of activism is good. Like I don't engage much in piracy or anything, but it's I do appreciate the art. It has to be kept up since I do consider most pirate these crackers and stuff to be more moral people than the multinational corporations. Call me crazy, but that's just how I see things. Okay. And here, games can no longer use virtual currencies to disguise the price of in-game purchases in the European Union. So, Commission and national authorities take action to protect children from harmful practices in video games. Like, okay, when you put it like that, it sounds bad. Like protecting children from anything is usually, if you make it as a law, it's usually terrible. But at least, of course, have to see how it's gonna affect things in practice. But this is actually something I'm sort of for because I just hate the idea that, and I've said it before because, and I will say it again because I'm an old fart. But back in my day, you bought a fucking video game. It came on a disc or a few disc or a CD or a DVD, and then you popped it into your computer or console, and okay, if it was if it was a PC, you'd have to install it, but anyways, you had the game there, and then it was functional. There were no microtransactions, no loot boxes, none of that crap. You bought a game and you could play the game basically forever as long as you had a machine to use it on. But now is now you buy the license for some game that's gonna be online for 2 years, and then they stop support, and then you cannot play it and all that bullshit. So and this nickel and diming stuff is, I don't like it. I just want to get rid of it. Yeah. Okay. What's this? Ah, yeah. United Nations asked Helldivers 2 studio. Excuse me. I drank some water, and apparently it's too difficult for me. So, anyways, some of it went to the wrong throat, as we say here somewhere. So Helldivers 2 Studio Arrowhead, if it give a talk on psychological manipulation. Could we brainwash an entire community to fight for a fascist state? Would we be okay with that? Turns out, yeah. So I guess they're saying that their players have been brainwashed to support fascism or something. It's like, and yeah, and the finding out has commenced. So the people are leaving negative reviews on Steam. It's too fuzzy really to read, but yeah, lots of negative reviews because they're basically the devs are insulting the players. But hey, maybe they should have figured it out a long time ago that even though the game did seem nice. I played the first Divers game, but there were all these PSN network controversies as other stuff. So the the devs seem to be assholes for the game. And just to celebrate, Snow White Bombs breaks record for lowest live action remake opening. So yeah, hairy back Snow White. Pride before a fall. Yes, or bride comes. Isn't it goes before a fall? Whatever. It's a Gundam. You got your sayings wrong. But that's the last story. So last story of the week. If I can just click here. So yeah, of course, the biggest news was the JFK files, and I do hope that all of the information comes out and something is actually done about the stuff. Like perhaps if any institution, Israel, Mossad, or CIA were involved in the assassination, even though those people who were participating, maybe they're not around anymore, but maybe something should still be done about those institutions so they cannot do similar things again. But just would make sense to me. And also maybe people should look more into stuff that Israel has done beyond allegedly assassinating JFK. But that's all I have to say for today. I'm Adventure Argonaut. Thank you for watching, and bye bye bye.